What a game. I mean, I felt like the true definition of March Madness, just the closeness of the game, the back and forth efforts by both teams. We had lost the first two games to Nova on some heartbreakers, different things in both games, and I know we were just so hungry to try and figure out how to beat them. I can't tell you how proud I am of just my team and their grit and their determination to find a way to win. I mean, Nova and us both like to score a little more than we do, than we did today. So just to figure out how to rely on our defense and rebounding and make timely plays on the offensive side was tremendous.
Let's start with questions for Liza. Go ahead in the front.
Hi, Liza. Brad Lake from WNBA Swish. With both teams going back and forth, what were you and your teammates like huddling about, telling each other as you are just trying to pull, out and pull ahead?
Yeah. I think we kept using the word composure in the huddles a little bit. Like Coach said, we played Villanova twice this year, very close both times. So we've been in these situations before. Everyone on the court was very familiar with what that game was about. So just keeping our heads on, being very tactical with kind of what the refs are calling, how they're scoring, and like I said, staying composed as much as possible.
Hi, Liza. Raquel Ruiz from Marquette Wire. So going into those final 5 seconds of the game, Olsen had the ball. Where was your head at, especially on the court, like being those last 5 seconds? What were you thinking? What was your game plan?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone on the court knew what Villanova was going to do in terms of who they were going to go to. And it's hard because when you're not in the action and you know what's going to happen, like you just kind of hope that your teammates are on their game, which they were, and then box out. So, I mean, I kind of had to just hope that, Rose Nkuma and Jordan King had my back on that. So, and they did, and they pulled through. So, yeah.
Hey, Liza, Corey John with the Greatonian. A lot of the game you played double big, especially with Skylar. How was it being able to play off her today for so much of that runtime? Yeah,
I mean, Skylar Forbes has worked so hard this whole year to get to the point where she's at right now, and I'm super proud to have her as a teammate this year, and she's huge for us just as another big inside presence. I mean, being able to kind of lob passes up to her, she comes down with them every single time. Just that presence defensively inside, she gets a lot of blocks for us, and obviously you saw how big she was on the boards. I mean, that's huge to have another big in there. Having your back on things like that.
Eliza T. Baker with the Next. Congrats on a great season and being named to the All Big East team.
Thank you.
You've gotten attention all year in the Big East honor roll nationally. I'm just curious kind of how you felt your game has improved and what you're proud of this season and from your play.
I think that I try to pride myself on being very steady, and my teammates are a huge, huge piece of that. Through the ups and downs, you miss shots, you make shots. I've never really worried about it because I know my teammates have my back at the end of the day. This year, I've tried to come into every single game with the same mentality and the same energy, and that's helped me a lot regardless of how many points I score. So I think that's what I'm most proud about for this year.
Liza, obviously every player loves to score, but how do you keep your head in the game when you get shot 33%?
Yeah. I mean, I think that I've always approached it as I can't control the ball going in or not. I can control how confident I am shooting the shots and what my shot selection is. So I work a lot with Coach Duffy and my assistant Coach Jay of what shots are good shots and what shots to hunt. And what shots might not be, the best shots for me to take. So I think going back to that, not necessarily focusing on if the ball goes in or not, and just focusing on what I can control when it comes to shot taking.
Any other questions for Liza? All right, Liza, thank you very much.
Thanks.
I'll let you get back to the locker room. Questions for Coach? Go ahead.
Hi, Coach. This being the third time that you've played them, did you see anything differently from them, offense or defense, that you didn't see from them in the first two games?
Well, I think both sides are trying to probably make small adjustments. We had some new things in, and I thought Denise did a great job of trying to, counter what we were doing defensively, whether that was, slipping a screen or curling them. They have so much movement in their 5-out, and as soon as you make a mistake, they can take advantage of it. I think one of the keys was, Olsen got off to a really hot start right off the bat, and then we settled down and just, kept talking about what we were trying to do to make it difficult, which was good for us as the game went on. She's such a tremendous player. So I think you spend the week actually trying to simplify things when you especially when you've lost two. You can overthink it, and you can focus on a detail that happened back in January, and it doesn't matter when you play in March. So that was one thing, staff down through the players, we really said this has to be won with our defense and rebounding. We actually talked kind of funny about our effort, just how our effort had to be a little bit better than it was when we played in Milwaukee and then out in Philly. And I thought, with simple things like that, like your effort to go chase down a rebound, your mentality if you don't like a call, whatever it is, just to stay really, really focused on that. And I think that might have been the difference of just getting that little bit extra, as silly as it sounds in March. We all want to win and play as hard as we can, but I thought the team was just tremendous with staying in that fight. Knowing this wasn't, we knew coming in this was not going to be some team's going to win by a lot, or it's not happening with this matchup. So.
Hey, Coach T. Baker with the next. Your program chose to honor Alasia Blockton. I think she graduated just before you came on campus, but curious if you have any insights on why she was chosen and kind of what she's meant for the program.
Our all-time leading scorer, Aya Blockton, has been tremendous. I've gotten to know her a little bit. Never got to coach her. She graduated when I came in my first year, but we actually probably needed her to score a little bit out there for us. She could get a bucket. She was a walking bucket. So I think it's a tremendous thing the Big East is doing to honor some of our legends. She's still a young legend because she's, not too far removed, but just somebody that brought so much excitement to Marquette basketball and, put from the national scene on the map a little bit more. And just great that she had the opportunity this morning to get recognized and be there behind our bench to watch our team play. And so very exciting just for her and then all the legends.
Coach, you mentioned how close the first two Villanova matchups are, but you've been playing close matchups ever since Illinois way back in week 1. How do you think all those close games prepared you for these big moments in March?
Yeah, we try and rely on our veterans. When you got somebody like Jordan King, who's been here for 5 years, and, Claire Kafis that came in, and then, Liza to my left, we try and learn from our mistakes, keep the standard. I've talked so much about that because you can get so focused on one or two possessions in a game, and I just sometimes it's not about that. It's about keeping those standards really high of Marquette basketball and figuring out ways to win. And I just think we were very loose with that today. From a just like, let's not overthink or analyze every little thing. Let's just make sure we're solid and we can live with whatever happens. And matchups in the league are interesting. Some teams that play real close, then you blow out another. It sometimes this year hasn't made a lot of sense. We were all tied for third, and we end up with the fifth. It's just there's a lot of things that don't match up. But what I do know, we're one of the best teams in the country, and hopefully we'll get to show that tomorrow against Connecticut and then beyond in the NCAA tournament. And I'm proud of the experience we've taken from those past games, and maybe all those really. I think other than the two Connecticut games, every game we've lost has been 5 or 6 or less points. So at some point you got to learn something, right? Either way. And maybe that was the turning point for us today.
Right here.
And speaking about the big game tomorrow, what are you going to be telling the team as you go into it, the practices, like before the game, like what's their mentality going to be like?
Yeah, there's not a lot of practice. So it's about rest and fueling and, we're obviously got not as many fans as them tomorrow, so we'll try. We got nothing to lose. Take the pressure off of us and try and have some fun. I thought we played some good basketball in the two matchups, but as we know with UConn, they can make runs so fast. So we'll have to really make sure we're connected on that we don't let it get out of hand and stay solid. But yeah, at this point, you don't have a lot of prep time. You got to kind of turn the page quickly after this one and enjoy this March Madness and the moment of being in the semis. It's really cool just to watch our team put that Marquette on the bracket and know you're playing UConn. Like those are the memories I'm watching these kids have, and you kind of have a little bit of chills from just back in the day of, you know, when you were a player, of just like, God, this is what it's all about. It's not the missed layup, it's not the free throw you make, it's watching them jump up and down and just be excited to have another day to play.
Meg, is that with regard to that game tomorrow? Like you had a close game today. UConn had an emotional game. Aaliyah got injured. How do you approach that? Like turning the page so quickly? Is there like a method to your madness that you maybe learned as a player? Or?
Yeah, I just think you just stay steady, and like I said, it's pretty simple. You get a shower and some food, and you work on the scout a little bit, and I think you hit it on the head. You emotionally have to come back down. You know, whether it's UConn's game or our game, you just kind of have to settle yourself back down. You know, as you play multiple games, you know, through the week, like physically, you're not going to get any fresher or feel any better that way. It's the opposite. So mentally, just, you know, focused on you know, the game plan and keeping it simple that way.
In the back.
So tomorrow's game, it's going to be a deja vu of last season playing UConn, falling to them in the semifinals. Last year, UConn scored 16 points off your 17 turnovers. Today, you had 17 turnovers on the game. How do you try to rearrange that? How do you try to come off of those 17 turnovers, turn it around for tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think about last year as a whole different team and season, as they are a very, very different team too. Anything when you play them, points off for turnovers are so important. Whether you, and I don't know, it's not necessarily like a number. If you have this many and there's a recipe for success, it's about the runs. It's about how they can, you know, quickly score off an easy basket. So taking care of the ball is always something, you know, we talk about, and it's even more important on their, you know, kind of home floor with their crowd, because this crowd can get into it pretty quickly. So it's more not the number, but just the mentality of let's clean it up a little bit. And yeah, we had some sloppy moments today, the physicality and all that, but we'll watch those a little bit and just remind our team, you know, what makes good basketball, and it's taking care of the ball.
Any other questions? Coach, thank you. Congrats.
Thank you, guys.